Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. We are officially 2 months into 2020, which means I have my 2-month update to share with you. The month of February gave us an extra day. I hope you enjoyed the extra day in the year. But with that extra time, was I more successful? It is time for us to find out. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and show you what my palettes look like after 1 month of usage. And now, here is what my Lorac Pro 1 palette looks like after 2 months of usage. Now that you have seen my Lorac palette, let's go ahead and show you what my Cargo Summer in the City palette looks like after 2 months of usage. All right, so it was a pretty good month. I actually am surprised by the progress because I had February break in the second half of the month, and I really didn't use these two eyeshadow palettes during that time. It wasn't because I wasn't wearing makeup. I just was sort of in this play mode where I really wanted to play with other makeup. Like, it felt like a really long weekend. And some of you have asked me before, but just as a reminder, I only really religiously use these two palettes Monday through Friday, and then on the weekends, as much as I can, I try to take a break from any of the products that I'm panning and try to use the weekends as time to assess other makeup or just play with other makeup that I wouldn't ordinarily allow myself to play with during the week. I just find that that works really well for keeping me focused with both my Project Pan and my Pan That Palette challenges that I'm doing throughout the year, and I do see a lot of concerted usage during those times. So with that week off, I really only spent 3 weeks working on this particular palette, but I'm gonna go ahead and talk more in depth first about my Lorac Pro Palette 1. So as you guys can see, I seem to find some pleasure in the mauve color, and I actually have a small amount of pan on it. I, for whatever reason, was really drawn to the look of this. I feel like in the pan, it doesn't look that great, but on my eyes, I really like the muted pink tone that it gives off, and it plays really well with the pink colors, the pink lid colors that are in my Cargo palette. So I have been really finding that with like it being February and me wanting to wear more pink and me having more pink eyes, that this worked really well, and I'm really happy to have pan on it. I also, not that surprised, but I did get a little bit of pan on pewter. I think this is a really pretty and creamy color. I think it blends out really beautifully. It's an intense color. It lasts all day. I also like that with pewter, when I put a lighter lid color with it, it doesn't mix. It like stays in my crease, and sometimes when I have creamy colors like this from other eyeshadows, it does tend to blend with my lid, which isn't normally my favorite. So I'm really happy that this has been standing up so well. I also did a little bit with light bronze. I think I maybe widened it a hair. I can't quite remember. But I didn't really touch gold. I think I used taupe minimally. I think I maybe widened that a bit more, but really I have been burrowing into pewter and mauve. Those have been my two go-tos. I also decided that I wanted to play with garnet. I've sort of been hesitant to play with garnet because I wasn't really certain how I wanted to wear it. To me, it reads as a really warm red color in the pan, and I'm not always particularly well versed on how to work with those types of shades. But I ended up wearing it and it really just comes off as a brown. It's definitely, you know, more red than pewter, but it doesn't read this sort of clay red on my eyes. It reads more as a brown color, which is good and bad because now I'm left with a lot more browns. Like I've got sable up here that I think I've maybe used one time. It's a really dark color. I'm not sure how well I will get along with it once I start to play with it, but I'm kind of at a point with my Lorac palette that I really want to get rid of some of my favorite go-to colors. And that kind of sounds odd because wouldn't I want to keep them? But again, because I'm a creature of habit and I like easy applications in the morning that I don't have to think a lot about, until some of those colors are gone, I won't be as pushed to make decisions about sable and garnet, for example. I also have just a little bit left of light pink. It's getting quite difficult for me to get the coloring that's left down in here, which is why I think it's still remaining, but I will definitely get it gone probably in a week. The last thing I will just share that might look a little bit different with this palette that I've waited probably far too long to explain is these three colors here. You guys will see that I've colored them in the background. I did that because as I was finishing off light pink, I realized like, oh dang, if I draw an X here, it's going to look like all three of these colors and now light pink were panned in this year. And that just didn't feel correct. So I wanted to be correct with my progress. I had already panned these three before we came into the year. So we'll see. I'm probably either going to really start to burrow into pewter or mauve or both of them, and that will be my focus for a while until maybe it looks more like taupe. But this is where I'm at. I'm really happy with this palette, and I keep finding that it's a really good pairing with my cargo palette. So with that said, let's go ahead and look at my cargo palette. So I do have some pan showing here for the first time on Summer Love. I am really happy to see that good bit of pan showing on here. I also have widened the pan on Rooftop, which again is an easy go-to. Like these are two really easy go-to colors, and I've been mixing Rooftop with pewter. I think those are two beautiful colors, and I have been mixing mauve with Summer Love. When it comes to the bottom row, I haven't really played much with the bottom. I've really been finding that I have been using the cargo palette more as my lid color palette and my Lorac palette as more of my crease and also my brow bone coloring. And I feel like until I've gotten more usage of this, I won't feel compelled to use the bottom row. I'm not that worried about it because you guys can see in 2 months, I've already managed to get big bits of pan showing in 2 of these colors. So it doesn't take me very long to burrow in when I'm really using something. So I feel like once I get down to this row more, I'll start to have pretty significant progress. I will be honest that I can see myself starting to burrow into Summer Love and Rooftop. Like I definitely feel like in the month of March, I'm probably going to focus on mauve, pewter, Summer Love, and Rooftop and really see what I can get done in a month. I feel like we're at a standstill right now with my creativity where I tend to go through pockets of comfort where it's just as easy in the morning. I don't think, I pull it out, I put it on, it's on my face, I'm good to go. And I'm less prone to want to experiment once I get to that point. So I think unless I knock out Summer Love or Rooftop, I'm probably gonna have a hard time getting a little bit deeper into what this palette has to offer. So we'll see. I'll definitely be curious to see if I can knock one of these out in a month. I honestly don't think I could. I feel like I've got a lot of shadow left in here, but then again, it's not that hard pressed. And I find that I do pack a lot on my lids to get the color pigment that I really want with the cargo palette. The final thing I will say is that with the getting rid of light pink, which won't take me very long, it's now time for me to bring in a new brow bone to lid base shade. And so I'm bringing it back. I'm bringing my Too Faced Matte Eye Pink Shadow back. I just wanted to mark what it looks like now so that you guys can see once I do bring it in, which I imagine will be after the first week of March, where I will be, 3 weeks after using this pretty consistently. I went back and forth on whether or not I should use this or pull out like a fresh shadow, but I figured this was older. I should stick with going more with the older colors that I have, especially the ones that I've depotted, like this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and come back to this puppy. Wish me luck. I don't know how I feel about it, but that will be the next shade that I bring in to couple alongside these. But nothing too intense on the update front in regards to versatility and different things. I really appreciate in my last update that you guys did give me some cool suggestions of shadows to mix. If I wasn't such a lazy person, I would have tried those out more, but really on the weekends is when I kind of experiment and play around with makeup and try different things. During the week, I'm very businessy because if something looks really off or really intense, I can't start over. I don't have the time in the morning because I do have to go to my job, which is why I think it's so important that I get rid of some of the comfort shades that I have, and that will then push me more to try other things. But that is it for me and this 2-month update. I appreciate you tuning in, and I will talk to you in my next video really soon. Bye.